What's up, guys? I'm going to talk about 10 ways that I personally deal with tattoo pain and make sessions go a bit easier. It's going to suck a little bit regardless, you know, it's a tattoo and it's going to hurt, but there's not really any healthy solution to prevent there from being any sort of pain. So I've had about 250 hours worth of tattoo work done so far, probably like 30 or so full day or half day sessions, between 5 to 9 hours per session, and I've only had to quit out on one session, and it wasn't my entire choice, it was the artist more so, because I made the mistake of drinking before the session, so I was fidgeting a bit too much and kind of scaring the artist and worrying him about potentially messing up my tattoo because of the fidgeting motion. So he just decided that we should continue it another day when I was sober and wasn't moving around. So other than that though, I've never had to quit a session, so I think I've got it pretty dialed in on the best way to get through a session without having to take any sort of drugs or anything like that. The number one thing I do is talk myself up before sessions. You know, getting a tattoo is not only a physical battle, but it's just as much, if not more, of a mental battle. So talk yourself up. Especially if you're going to book long sessions that are 5 to 8 hours, or if you're going to book sessions on painful areas like your chest, your stomach, your sides, all that. You know, it's definitely best to get your mind state in the proper form. Number two, go into the session with the mindset that you're not going to walk out of there with an unfinished piece. You know, if it's a one-hitter, if it's a multiple day project like a sleeve or anything, of course that's going to take a few sessions. But if you're just going in for you know, half sleeve like that or a piece like that, you know, you got to go in with the mindset that you're not stopping early and that you're going to get through it no matter what, if the artist tells you that it's a one session piece. Number three, I like to listen to music, have my focus be on the lyrics and the beat and all that. You know, it's key to distract yourself and take your mind off of the pain, so find things that help you do that, which goes into number four. What I like to do most is watch movies or watch TV shows. I'll find a good movie or a show to lock in on and pass the time that way. You know, I'll look at it like, oh, well, it's an 8-hour session, so I got 4 movies to watch. That's all I got to do, you know, and I'll lock in on that movie with some hopefully noise-canceling headphones. Number five, I like to talk to the artist. As long as the artist is cool with it, there's certain areas that you can get tattooed that would move while you're talking. So if you're getting tattooed on your stomach or something, you don't want to be talking because it could move your stomach. But just check with the artist if it's cool. Sometimes I'll kill 30 or 45 minutes just talking to the artist about random stuff if we're vibing well. There's some artists that just don't really like to talk, or that just would rather have the session be quiet. But if they're willing to do it, that can make things speed up a bit. I like to bring a friend at times, or a loved one. I don't do this as much anymore because I don't really get anxious before sessions since I've had so many, but since some people do get anxious before sessions, they like to bring a loved one, and same rule goes for this. If the area that you're getting tattooed on is moving when you're talking, then it's probably not best to talk too much, but if the artist is cool with it, then definitely go with that. It sounds weird, but I like to chew gum during sessions. Just anything, again, that will distract you and that you can focus on the pattern of. So I just chew gum and focus on the pattern of my mouth moving, you know. For some reason it works. Some people it does, some people it doesn't. Number 8, don't be afraid to ask for breaks periodically. Definitely not too much, but if you need one, don't be afraid to ask. It is good to let the artist get in a rhythm for a couple hours so that they can catch their stride and make good progress. But if you do need a break, don't be afraid to ask for one, because they can be lifesavers at times. But don't be getting up every half hour or so, because then the artist just isn't able to get in a rhythm and it ends up dragging the day out much longer than it needs to go. Number 9, numbing cream and numbing spray. This is a little bit of a gray area for me because the artists don't always love to use these products because, first of all, for it to work properly, you have to put the cream on. Let's say I'm getting tattooed on my thigh. You'd have to put the cream on and then let it sit there for an hour or so before the effects completely take place, and then it'll last for an hour and a half before it wears off. And then if you're using a spray, you spray it, and then you have to wrap it in like a saran wrap and keep it tight for 45 minutes or so until the effects take place. And then it does wear off, and that does take time out of your day and out of the artist's day, so it's definitely not something you want to rely on. And also, those products can only be used once the stencil is tattooed, so like all the the purple stuff that you see on the stencil, once those lines are all filled in, then you can do it. Otherwise it'll rub the stencil off, and you can't tattoo when there's no stencil on. So usually that's gone after about 60% of the way through the session or so. I'd say the stencil's all gone and you're ready to use the numbing cream or spray. So you can't really rely on that, because that's only able to be used in the latter half of the tattoo, at least during my experiences. Number 10, focus on your breathing. Again, distracting yourself is crucial. Try to tune everything out and just pay attention to the patterns of your breathing. And this is something I only use when sessions are really tough. Like if it's near the end of a session on my chest, I use this, or my stomach and stuff like that, when things are really tough, and I just try to tune everything out, and can't even really watch stuff when I'm doing that, because the pain is just pretty intense. But that's what I use as a last resort. So anyway, like I said, I've had about 30 half or full day sessions that I've managed to get through almost the entire session, other than one time. So I think I've got it down pretty good, and hopefully these helped you a bit. If they did, share with a friend. Thank you guys for listening. Much love.